I'm a bit late to the party when it comes to Helldivers 2, and as many of you know, the game has already created a lot of fuss in the gaming community, since a lot of people has initially at least started to play Helldivers 2, and a lot of content creator has also praised this new co-op shooter as well, giving it a boost in popularity, you might say. I'm not doing a review per se here today, something I sometimes do, but I do want to share my thoughts and experiences so far, especially since I'm playing, or at least are trying to play, the game on a low spec kind of PC. So the focus will mostly be on the performance overall when it comes to Helldivers 2 more than the actual game itself. We're getting to that in a moment. First off, I thought it's extra fun to see that Helldivers 2 is doing well, since the developers behind this game, which is Arrowhead Game Studios by the way, is a gaming studio that was founded in the small city up north here in Sweden that is called Skellefteå by the way, where I was born and raised as a kid and a young boy, so kudos to that. This third-person co-op shooter was released recently on February 8 on PC and PlayStation 5, and it's a sequel to Helldivers that was released back in 2015, and so far, Helldivers 2 has already attracted far more players than its predecessor. Helldivers 2 got server issues at launch. Could be so that the studio underestimated the sheer number of players it would be hosting on its servers. A mistake you might say that did cost, since they got a lot of bad Steam reviews initially due to these issues. In addition to that, when it comes to bad reviews, a lot of players have been questioning the fact that Arrowhead has implemented an anti-cheat system in a PvE game. That has been the subject of controversy before. It can read a player's entire hard drive in search of any files that might be used for cheating, and even though Arrowhead's CEO has assured players that NProtect doesn't collect any personally identifiable information from your PC, it's still vulnerable to certain type of exploitation and could become a security risk. About 2.5 weeks later though, when I'm doing this video, the overall Steam reviews has gone from mixed to mostly positive. So with that said, I decided to give the game a try, joining these elite forces in order to win an intergalactic struggle to rid the galaxy of the rising alien threats. Wow. As said in the beginning of the video, I'm currently running a somewhat low spec PC rig, so I am well aware of my own technical shortcomings. But even so, I have been able to play many of the newest games the last couple of years with both decent performance and visual experiences, you might say. But Helldivers 2? No, I got problems already from the start, getting very low frames even though I tweaked my settings for a very long time, that I'm used to do nowadays, and I then started to Google around a bit, and I realized that Helldivers 2 doesn't seem to be a very well optimized game on PC, at least not yet. Reading multiple threads where people with way more better PC setups than I have was complaining about low FPS and even stuttering in the game. It seems as if some guys are experiencing these issues while some guys aren't, so it seems to vary and also depending on multiple factors. Unfortunately, AMD graphics card users are once again the ones that seems to experience performance issues in Helldivers 2 the most, which I've seen and heard when it comes to other titles as well before. Are games only developed for Nvidia graphics card, you might think? I know it's a bit salty, but it feels like it once in a while. I also realized that Arrowhead are using the same graphics engine that was running the game called Darktide, if you've ever played it. And I have to say that I experienced the same kind of performance issues with Darktide as I'm now facing in Helldivers 2, so maybe that correlates a bit. And on top of that, my oldest son, who is a game developer, sent me this post, which shines some extra light on the performance shortcomings as well. As you can see, the game runs mostly on 2 cores, which is very poor parallel processing and has an extremely inconsistent temperature profile. So this will for sure affect even the high-tier PC setups to a certain extent, and not only those of you out there that are like me, meaning playing the game on those settings with a low-end PC. I'm not a game developer, and therefore I don't have the knowledge or insight when it comes to what can be fixed or not when it comes to these kind of performance issues, besides upgrading your own system and hope for future patches and updates that hopefully will boost the performance somewhat in the game. Because besides the fluctuation or inconsistency, I would say, when it comes to frames and overall performance at the moment, during the initial hours I've been playing Helldivers 2, I also came across a variety of bugs in the game. You can see one or two examples here where during the intro or tutorial wasn't able to crawl under the barbed wire due to some invisible wall, or when I landed with the drop pod and got stuck in the same or the ground for that sake. Luckily a teammate of mine threw a nade and killed me so I could respawn. Thank you, Rate, and also Crazy Walking for playing with me. I believe that Helldivers 2 has potential as a fun, relaxed pew-pew game, and I have also been looking forward to this kind of style of a game, a fun co-op shooter game that I can play with a friend or two. However, the game in its current state or condition on PC isn't that great, at least from my perspective, and even though you might have a better PC than me, I do recommend that you might want to wait a bit longer before you buy the game, or at least consider to wait, because hopefully by then the developers has been able to optimize the game further and also fixed some of the bugs in the game. Some players has insinuated that it does feel as we're paying $40 for a beta at release. Then later down the line, that will become a full game. This is where I would like you to come in and share your thoughts as well. Besides what you think about the game overall, have you had any problems when playing Helldivers 2 on PC so far? Or are you the lucky one that hasn't experienced any of these issues at all? And if you're playing on PS5, please let me know what kind of experiences you've had so far. Because besides the problems mentioned, I've had some fun playing Helldivers 2, as most games, especially when it's a co-op and collaboration-oriented game, you are of course better off playing with friends, also voice communicating. I also believe that the game grows a bit more over time, or at least you'll have more fun when you start to unlock more weapons and gadgets, so that you can vary your playstyle and experiences a bit more that matches also your teammates' loadouts, since the game can become a bit repetitive for some. But the game is pretty straightforward as a shooter, and the gunplay is okay, and so is the audio and visuals. Actually, the audio is really good. I know that some guys would have liked to see more content already at launch when paying around 30 to 40 bucks for a game, but hopefully Arrowhead has a good plan and roadmap for this already. I would play the game quite sparesome for now and wait for more updates. I have to be honest and say that I do believe that some of these issues mentioned in the video could have been avoided before launching the game, but hey, it's 2024 and those kind of things has happened many times before as well. With those words, I'm gonna finish the video, and as said earlier, it would be interesting to hear from you as well. I will keep my eye on the game. I will continue to play as said, but I do hope for some updates so we get even better performance. I think the game is worth it for sure. And yeah, let's talk soon again. If you're interested, if you want to see more content when it comes to FPS gaming, make sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll talk to you soon in an upcoming video. With those words, have a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and game on. Bye-bye.
Allied destroyer joining squadron, deploying Helldiver.